Welcome to episode 0 or 1 of
Go with 0.
episode 0 of Music. Is it good though? Where we're looking to try and find out if music is, in general, is it good?
Yeah, this might be contrary to what most people think, as most people think music is good. So we're looking to be controversial maybe in the outcome.
So you say music is good, but is there any evidence?
Not as yet. This podcast will act as the first evidence of music's general goodness.
This could get like peer-reviewed articles and the evidence will be there.
It won't.
So I guess like the idea of how what's going to be happening in these episodes going forwards. Like we did start off. There's a list 1001 albums you must hear before you die. We thought initially we'll do that. We'll work our way through that. Now, one episode a week would take us just under 20 years to do that, which I don't know about you, but I felt, nah.
It's a bit much.
I don't intend to be your friend in 20 years' time.
Yeah, right. You've already been it for nearly 20 years anyway.
Oh, God. So the idea is we're kind of like maybe dipping into that list a little bit, dipping out a bit, personal recommendations and things as well, and aiming for one episode a week. Yeah, of an album review. Sometimes things that we're familiar with, sometimes things that we're not, and yeah, kind of going from there. Shooting the I'm supposed to be doing family friendly.
Shooting the bleep.
Shooting the bleep.
Yeah, we'll allow that one slip.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be me, to be honest. But we haven't actually introduced ourselves.
We've not. So I go by many names.
She's not a criminal.
My name for this will be my actual name, which is Daniela. You can call me Danny. You can call me... I was going to swear again then. You can call me whatever you like.
Yeah, I'm Mike. People call me Sav. And that is all you need to know about that.
And you can call him anything you like.
Yeah, including swear words. You're not as censored as we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first album that we're going to be reviewing is one none of us had I'd heard of it, but I'd never listened to it knowingly. Although having listened to some of the songs, some of the melodies seemed familiar, but I guess there's only so many, so they could have appeared in other songs. It's Tapestry by Carole King.
Yeah, so this is one where from the 1001 albums, it came up on... Because I'm doing that every day, I'm listening to a new album every day. And that came up on mine. I'm sending you the album every day, so if it looks interesting, you can have a go with it.
I've listened to a few. I haven't listened to some because the one that you sent me today, no.
Yeah, fair enough.
No.
So that was one that came through. I sent you the album art. I said I've never even heard of this person. I've never heard of the album. Looked through the track list. There are some songs that I recognise the title of. But it's not an artist I'd ever heard of before, which when you look actually online, she's massively prolific.
Yeah.
It's one of them people where like anybody should know her name.
Yeah.
But
I knew her name and I knew of the album, but it just never appealed to me to listen to it because I knew what she was meant to be like. She was a pop singer.
Yeah.
Well, she was a pop songwriter. She wrote songs for other people. Like every song on the album is actually hers, but some of them had been recorded by other artists, like Feel Like a Natural Woman. That was Aretha Franklin.
And there was somewhat... What was the song now? I can't remember. I'll have to look at the track list in a bit. But there's one that came out something like 10 years before, but I want to say they're called the Rochettes or something.
Shirelles.
The Shirelles.
Yeah, it's... it might be I Feel the Earth Move.
It's not that one.
Is it not that one?
Do you want me to get the track list up?
Yeah. Well,
Sorry about this.
As you can tell, we are not familiar with this album.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like that's why we were going in blind for this and seeing what we thought for what's like arguably one of the best albums ever, according to some people.
Yeah. Well, it'd be better than going in bias because then it'd just be like, yeah, I love this album.
Will you still love me tomorrow?
Yeah. Is that the Shirelles?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good remembrance from me.
Well, I didn't check. I'm just assuming. Yeah. So yeah, that was like listening through it. Songs like that one. Carole King's version of it is a lot slower. It's a lot, I guess, like back to basics. It's mainly her and a piano for a lot of the songs. There are other instrumentation in it, but it's mostly at in the foreground, I guess, is all the vocals and piano as the main main instruments.
Well, I guess that you could, like, going back to the album art, that you'd get that from looking at that anyway, because it's just literally her sat by a window with a tapestry she apparently knitted.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, with a cat with a really weird name. I think it's like Mellishode or something.
This
is all from Wikipedia.
I was going to say, like...
It's definitely not Mellishode, but it's something really weird. Like
Is it melody?
No. It's a word I've never come across, and a name I don't think anything else has ever been called.
Okay.
Michelle or something.
Well, that's too far for me.
Yeah.
But something that, like, one of my friends, shout out to Barry, he said when I put this onto Facebook, because I'm doing like reviews of every album every day, and he was saying, which I think ties in very well to the album art of it, is that it's very much like get some thick socks on, have a cup of tea and cozy up by the fire listening to it. And it is exactly that kind of music, isn't it? Like, how you'd describe that as a genre, I don't know, but it easy does listening. Fit. Easy listening. It's very easy listening.
Well, there's a song on the album called Home Again, which kind of reflects that sentiment. I can't remember the exact lyrics, but it's about someone returning home again after a period of time away, which obviously returning home is quite comforting. Obviously, we're not allowed to play the music on the podcast because
copyright. So if you just heard that one piano note, then
it's from a different song,
and it's from public domain song, by the way. There's the Home Again lyrics.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a look,
and I'm gonna have a sweet.
Well, maybe this isn't actually as happy as I thought it was. Snow is cold, rain is wet, chills my soul right to the marrow. That sounds like a death metal lyrics. I want to be home again and feeling right. I think that's a sentiment we can all go with. Wintry. And like I say, it's someone curled up by the window. My eyes are terrible. But yeah, it looks like she's curled up by the window. See if you can get on Wikipedia and see what that cat's called.
No. We will put, like, I guess we've been talking about the album artwork. It'll be on the screen somewhere when I edit it, put it all on.
Well, it probably is copyrighted, but you can still use it.
You can use it, yeah. So, top 3 songs on the album?
Well, I liked Smack Waterjack because it's more rock. Like, when I did have preconceptions of this album, and I thought it was going to be like, I'd heard that she was influential for people like Katie Melua. Think of another easy listening artist like Norah Jones, maybe, even though she's more jazz. Even though I don't mind them, I sometimes will choose not to listen to them just because they can be a bit boring. It can try and like go into elevator music territory. But this was a lot more rock, I thought, like soft rock, not like hard rock.
Death metal.
Smack Waterjack because it had like a bluesy feel. Yeah. It was originated. I Feel the Earth Move, and is it Wonder or Yonder?
Oh, Something Over Yonder.
Something Over Yonder.
Well, I don't know if the word is something.
No, it's not something. It's
Way Over Yonder.
Way Over Yonder. Those were my 3. Because from what I remember of, like, I Feel the Earth Move is like quite. It reminded me of like a Motown song.
Yeah.
It's got quite a R&B beat to it. I'm not going to use music terminology often because I don't know it. But it kind of swung.
Yeah.
How about you?
My top 3 are completely different to yours.
That's good.
Which, I was wondering, is it going to be like, I agree.
We've never agreed.
Well, I guess not. No. We agree that it's a good album.
Yeah.
So my top 3, my favourite one was Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, I liked how it did stand out a bit from the other songs. It's kind of, I don't know how to describe it, and I know this isn't right, but it's kind of umpire-y. In like I guess the melody on the bass is bum, bum, bum.
I was trying to think what umpire would mean. Yeah,
is it like an umpire band? Yeah. So that, and it's just the whole sentiment of the song was really nice as well. It's one of them where, like, be yourself and that makes you more beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Very 60s.
Yeah, I can all get behind that.
Yeah.
Second was, so I was listening to this, just kind of to paint a picture. I was listening to this on the walk into work, and then because I finished work early, waiting for my partner, just walking around town, headphones on, listening to it, and Beautiful came on. I thought, this is a banger, I like this one.
Don't use that term. It's not going to be on in any clubs anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a really good song, and I thought I really like this. And then the next song immediately after that was just call on my name and you know wherever I am.
You've got a friend.
You've got a friend, yeah. And that came on, and legit, I shit you not, I was walking around town. I nearly did it again. I tell no lies. I was walking around town and I started tearing up.
Really?
Like legitimately, like I was just walking along and sat down on a bench listening to Beautiful. I was like, oh, this is good. To be fair, I recently had, because I have like hormone injections which make me a bit emotional anyway. So there was that. Yeah. I had a headache that day. So just when you feel a bit naff anyway. And then I sat listening to Beautiful. I was like, oh, this is good. And then You've Got a Friend came on. And then it was like, I'm going to need to go for a walk. I can't sit on this bench because it's just such a nice song. I was familiar with the James Taylor version of it, which I think is the more famous one.
But yeah. I think, well, obviously she wrote it.
They both released the same year as well.
Yeah.
So I was more familiar with that one. But I think the James Taylor one's more like kind of acoustic guitar-y. Yeah. And this is a lot more piano-y. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Lack of a better phrase, it just hit different.
Well, apparently James Taylor encouraged her to, like, he's the one who encouraged her to release her own albums because she'd been writing songs for years with her husband.
Right.
And then they must have gone, wait a minute, you've actually got a really beautiful voice.
Yeah. So that's my two. Beautiful, then You Got a Friend. Then, what was it called? It was the one that Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Again, like, I know I was already semi-familiar with the song from the Shirelles, but if that is the name of the band, first of all, in case we got it wrong.
It's definitely on the album. One of those songs was whether it's that one or not. So I was somewhat familiar with the song, so you kind of go in already quite enjoying it just through that familiarity. Mm-hmm. But it's very different to the Shirelles one, whereas the Shirelles one is very sort of... Well, that is like... I
was going to say it's Motown, isn't it? Yeah. But it's also like a faster beat. It's like, will you still love me tomorrow? Whereas this is a lot slower, like significantly slower.
Yeah, more reflective.
Yeah, more reflective, kind of more... It's one of those ones where, like, there's a place for songs where they just sing the lyrics, and there's a place for songs where you can tell they're emotionally singing the lyrics. Mm-hmm. And with the Shirelles, it was a good song, but you can feel the lyrics a lot more in the Carole King one.
Well, they're her lyrics, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. So that would be my top three because, I just really enjoyed them. And, like, if one of the songs legit gets me tear-jerked, then, like, I couldn't tell you many songs that have done that.
Well, not on first listening, I'm guessing. Like, sometimes songs will do that because you're familiar with them and they place you in a certain time. But, well, those are our top three.
Top three? So you've got a 6... Like
top 6 from an album of 10.
Yeah. The next section that we were going to do is like any songs that you like actively dislike.
No,
same for me. So like you've got 6 really good songs. Like my top 3 completely different to your top 3.
Yeah.
So like going in as any different person, like you might have a top 3 that's we've not said because they are all such just legitimately good songs.
Like, comment, subscribe. Just to borrow a James May phrase.
Oh, and by the way, this episode is brought to you by Skillshare. It's not, I'm sorry, but it's Skillshare. If you do want to sponsor us, then hit me up.
I'll take sponsorship that gives me money. I need money. What was the next section?
Overall,
marks out of 10. I just want to ask as well, so the marks out of 10 that you're going to give now, did you do an Instagram post for this?
Yeah.
Because you've shown me some of the other ones, so is it going to be reflective of that, or is your thoughts changed? I know it was only a few days ago, but...
Yeah, I think it'll be reflective of my review that I put. Oh, by the way, shout out to my review Instagram, 1001 album reviews, 1001 album reviews. I'm on TikTok as well.
Can't believe that wasn't already taken.
Yeah, no, me too. like 1001 albums to hear before you die was taken, but just 1001 album reviews, which is a lot easier to remember, was not taken.
Impressive.
Yeah. So, yeah. Basically, it was an album where I went in with kind of no expectations, because like I say, I wasn't familiar at all. And it's one of the few albums so far where I do keep going back to it, because I just legitimately did really enjoy the album. So I don't think, like, off the top of my memory, on the review that I wrote, believe it or not, I don't remember it word for word. However, I can't really fault any of the album. And I know a lot of the reviews that I've been doing, I'll look very generous on it, but bear in mind these are the 1001 best albums ever, according to Rolling Stone. So
you're gonna be hard to pick a stinker.
Yeah. So yeah, with that in mind, it would be a 10 out of 10 for me. I can't.
No,
yeah.
That would indicate a perfect album, though.
Yeah.
But that would mean every single song on there you'd rank along the top 3.
There's not a song that I think is bad on it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think every song's perfect on it. There are some filler.
I'm curious what I put on my review. You say yours.
Yeah, so I'd say, because there is some filler on, I won't call it filler, but there's just some songs that aren't as good as the other ones, which you're going to get on most albums anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd give it 8 out of 10. But like Danny said, she keeps going back to it. And even though I've wanted to familiarise myself a bit more with it, so I've listened to it 3 or 4 times, I would continue listening to it after this podcast is done.
Yeah.
It's not like I was just listening to it for that. Yeah, so 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
No shame. I'm going to be a lot harsher. I'll be the Craig Revel Horwood of the podcast.
I don't know who that is.
Strictly Come Dance.
Okay. Yeah, on my review on Instagram, I just checked and I put 10 out of 10 on the day that I listened to it as well. And I did put, and I think this is okay for me to say on a family-friendly show.
Probably not.
That I think the album is a grower, not a shower. In that the more you listen to it, the better it is.
Yeah, I'll go with that. That could only mean one thing, but still.
So
she's already sworn on it.
No, I can't believe I was warning you before we started. Like, it's going to be a family-friendly show. And then immediately.
Yeah, literally within a minute.
Yeah, atrocious. Any closing thoughts?
Well, are we going to say what we're listening to next week? Or
Yeah, good thinking.
Have we decided?
We've not, no. So do you want to do next time another one from the 1001 albums? Do you want to do an album that you really like, or do you want me to pick an album?
I think if we go with the 1001 albums for the first few.
Yeah.
Because we could do that Badly Drawn Boy album.
Yeah.
Again, none of us were familiar with that going in blind.
That's the Hour of Bewilderbeast, I think it's called.
Yeah, I think it is Hour, isn't it?
Hour of Bewilderbeast. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Yeah, there will be other genres on this, hopefully, other than singer-songwriter albums. But the singer-songwriter albums, again, they're not as boring as I expected they'd be. They're not all James Taylor albums. No offence to him. Now that he'll listen to this. Might be dead. Not sure.
Yeah. So next week, the episode will be... Oh, I've got sugar stuck in my throat.
The next week, the album will be The Hour of Bewilderbeast by Badly Drawn Boy.
From the year 1999.
Yeah.
But this one that we've discussed today, was that 1971 off the top of my head?
72.
Was that?
Yeah. It definitely got a Grammy in 72, so I'm guessing it is.
Early 70s. Yeah. So it's like albums from all over the place as well. So, yeah. So that will wrap up this week's episode.
Thank you for listening.
Cool. Bye then. I hope it's recorded.